Hello everyone, Elite TV Agent here, and it seems like I predicted the future a little bit of what may happen in episode 71. The episode came out a few hours ago, and I assure you, it was hella crazy. I talked about when will we see G-Man again, and we saw him in this episode right after I talked about him. What a coincidence. We also saw a character we haven't seen in 4 months. Anyways, enough of me talking, let's start the video. But before we start, don't forget to join my Discord server for updates on anything, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy these analysis. Now here we go. The episode starts off with our POV cameraman looking at a tablet, but take a look at what he is watching. He seems to be watching what was happening in episode 70 part 2. This means that while Dark Speaker Man and Plunger Man were walking in the bunker a few seconds before they turn invisible, the POV cameraman were watching all that while episode 71 was happening. So episode 70 part 2 and 71 were both happening at the same time. While we were watching what was going on, the tablet glitches before saying, "Connection lost?" That happened because they turned invisible and Plungerman's camera showed recording error. So that's why it said connection lost. And also because the secret agent was present. After our POV looked up, we saw one of Titan TV Man's monitors, and as we looked to our right, we saw a toilet that looks pretty similar to the one we saw in part 1 of episode 70. But this toilet was a lot bigger and stronger. He fired a missile to Titan TV Man's monitor, knocking it down from the sky. This toilet is playing to much Call of Duty. All jokes aside, Titan TV Man picks up his monitor and reattached it back to his shoulder. But while he was doing this, he said a very funny phrase. While Titan TV Man picked up his monitor, he said, "You're so fucking dead in reverse. Listen to it yourself." And if you thought that was crazy, you're gonna want to watch until the end, because more crazy thing have happened in this episode. I don't know what I may put as today's thumbnail, but thus toilet wasn't finished, because on the mountain behind him 2 large missile cannons appeared and fired a lot of missiles at our Titan trio. But these chads are ready for anything. Titan Cameraman and Speaker both shot back, send the missiles breaking their flight, as Titan TV Man wiped out his sword and swinged it, knocking back the missiles, and unfortunately killing our POV. But we never seen Titan TV Man use this ability before. Perhaps he has Meyer features we haven't seen yet, and it seems like Titan TV Man reattached his sword on his hand. After the death of our POV, a cool transition was shown as we were actually in another POV watching from that cameraman's POV. As we looked up, we saw a lot of explosions on the other side of this mountain. Perhaps the battle between the trio and the missile toilet is happening behind there. We see a camera copter flying and parking next to another camera copter while another was flying in. After that, we saw a cameraman walking by that looks similar to the one we saw in the leak. And you have to admit, this Speakerman has some moves.
Bruh.
Blood could be the new Michael Jackson with those dance moves. He's even doing the hop hop. All jokes aside, this Speakerman is dressed in all black, and I assume he has his knives in his pockets because he can't come into the battlefield without any weapons. As we begin to look around, we saw 2 cameramen and 1 large cameraman watching this other cameraman. Maybe they were taking a look at the weapon he has, because we don't see them with one. Speaking of this weapon, I thought only the cameraman in the leak had this machine, but it seems like certain cameramen has it. Also, while we were looking around, we see 2 cameramen engineers fixing up this cameraman that lost his legs. After that, we see another camera copter flying in, but it seems like it was shot at and fell to the ground. One of the cameraman engineers swiftly heads over to it to revive the cameraman that was inside, but where are we? I think this is a small cameraman base that these cameramen are staying. There are also a few other camera copter that seems to have been here for a while, and these smalls bunkers may be a little hideout for the cameraman. As we turn to the left, we see a cameraman investigating a small area, and on the floor you can see a gray line, but you're about to find out what this is. As we walked up to the cameraman, we zoomed up to the keypad that we saw in the leak, and we can already tell that this is the same place and the same cameraman we saw in the leak. As we walked up to the cameraman, he got up and pointed to the ground, telling him that something is underneath them. But right after that, the ground began to shake, and smoke was coming out of the ground while a noise can be heard. It kind of sounds like a train, but the cameraman flies up to us as we were being carried up with the ground. As we backed up and prepared for the danger that was coming out, 2 skibidi copters came out, and it seems like they were connected to each other on each end, but they didn't attack us and just flew away. Look below them. They seem to be carrying something in this metal box. I think there is a weapon that the scientist toilet has created and they are transporting it to another skibidi base because they know the Alliance is on their base, and this weapon is the most powerful one the toilets has yet. But this is just another one of my crazy theories, and I'm not 100% sure if this is accurate at all. As these toilets came out, we began shooting at them, but they seem to be very durable as they fly off. We looked to our right to see that we were accompanied by 2 camera copters. We heard another noise and we got ready for battle. But we for sure was not ready for what was coming out, my friends, because it was G-Man Toilet himself. The boss of all the toilets has finally returned. As he charged up his guns, we tried to make a run for it, but he fired his guns and we fell as our camera was glitching out like crazy. As we begin to see clearly again, we saw as G-Man shot the 2 camera copters. I kind of feel bad for them because every time we see these in battle, they always die. But we looked at G-Man and he was destroying everything like crazy, and I noticed something mind-blowing in this frame. Take a close look at the background. Do you notice someone? Yes, it is DJ Skibidi. It seems like he survived after the Astro Toilet splitted him into pieces in episode 70 part 1, and he doesn't look happy. He seems upset, mainly because he lost all of his insane upgrades and can't play his fire music anymore. As we continued watching helplessly, we saw the Skibidi mutant that we last saw in episode 66. And he killed a cameraman engineer with no mercy. And this scene was really tragic because these poor fellas don't have anything to defend theirself with. We saw a cameraman on the ground and he attempted to kill this mutant, but the mutant easily killed him with a new gun he has. And it seems he also got an upgrade between these episodes. Something insanely sus happened in this frame, as the mutant was casually walking past G-Man. He was staring at him, and blood literally raised his eyebrows trying to rizz up the mutant.
Bruh.
G-Man, is that the kind of vibes you're on now, bruh? Comment you Riz for G-Man? Because if I was a girl, I would have probably fall for this Riz, but that's besides the point. We can also see that the mutant has 2 katanas on his jetpack, but I just can't get over the way G-Man literally tried to rizz up this guy. Elite Mutant Buzzsaw Toilet. If you're watching this, you better tell G-Man to back off and say that you love Computer Woman. All jokes aside, G-Man looked at us and fired his guns at us, making our screen glitch out again. But we actually survived and we were underneath a pile of rubble. We see as G-Man flew away, and a few seconds after we see the Astro Toilet came in observing what happened, and immediately flew right to G-Man's direction, and the episode ends. This episode was crazy, but the video isn't over yet because we have a lot of things to talk about still. First of all, I was kind of correct when I said there is a base there by where this cameraman was standing. It wasn't a cameraman base, but it was a skibidi base. And I also wanted to see this new gun in action. Unfortunately, I was wrong when I said we will be in this cameraman's POV, and we didn't get to see how powerful this weapon is. And when all of this was happening, meanwhile, Plunger Cameraman and Dark Speaker Man were fighting the scientist with the female trio, the large cameraman, and the reinforcements. But where is these toilets going? I know I said it before, but they may be either going to another skibidi base, which it may have, or inside this box is a large missile that they will drop down in the cameraman base. I know this is a ridiculous theory, but it's possible, and also, I always thought that G-Man had the ability to shoot lasers from his eyes, but I was wrong. These 2 devices here is what shoots the lasers. I can even prove because how would he use his laser if his glasses is on? And in episode 65, after the Titan duo cooked up the fake G-Man, we saw the same device that is here, and it was that device that fired his lasers. Here's a few theories from my Discord server. The theory about what was in the cargo is perhaps an ordinary skibidist, and Astro Skibidist exchange technologies. Scientist Skibidi gave Astro Toilet technology TV Man, and Astro Toilet gave him their technology. Well, after the death of the scientist, G-Man took these technologies, and therefore Astro Skibidist pursues G-Man and Skibidist to pick up their technology. That's actually an interesting theory. Shout out to Lucky Sonic. Moving on to a theory form, Meg, so this is gonna be a wild theory, but Dark Speaker Man is not dead, but Plunger Cam is. Why do I believe this, you ask? Well, Plunger Cam came back once already, it would be repetitive to come back again, no? Dark Speaker Man did not have as much screen time as Plunger Cam, and he's a fan favorite. There are many possible upgrades for him too, if he were to come back. Some of these upgrades include upgraded speakers, increased durability, maybe a new weapon. Example, a spear, katana like Speaker Woman has, or maybe even a blaster, etc. The possibilities are endless. He never got any upgrades, unless you count when they looted the skibidi base, but emo, that doesn't count. So it would make sense for him to receive some and come back. Now, about the newest episode. We can see the Astro toilet at the end of the episode following G-Man. Could this mean the Astros are under his control? Or are they planning to assassinate him as they did to the DJ toilet? And the cargo that was being transported, the Skibidi base, was just raided and infiltrated, so maybe they are taking their technology to another safe and secluded area to plot more plans. Though this will be hard due to the fact the scientist Skibidi is no more. Also, a silly detail I found is that a speaker man is doing the boogie down dance at one point of the video. Also, G-Man is a bit sus as he tried rizzing up the buzzsaw mutant Skibidi, signified by his eyebrows going up and down in a rather flirtatious manner. Anyways, these are just my mere theories and I can't wait for the next episode. This is an amazing theory and it actually makes sense, even though it's most likely for Plungerman to return. There's still a possibility we will see Dark Speakerman again because he hasn't got any screen time. Shout out to Meg for this awesome theory, and I appreciate you for taking the time to write all this. And you have come to an end of the video. My friends, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash the like button down below, just like how you would want to smash the female trio.
Bruh.
Sorry, I got caught lacking again. But don't forget to subscribe as well and join my Discord. And that was me, Elite TV Agent, out, and see ya.